All right, joining us now, former House Speaker Newt Gingrich is with us. How are you, sir?
I'm having a ball.
I think people need to be reminded. You balance the budget four straight years. It has not been balanced since.
Nope.
Okay. You had a big fight to get there.
Yep.
I remember the argument. You're going to reduce the rate of growth of Medicare. 7% a year, every year, for 7 years, twice the rate of inflation. Am I doing well so far?
You're doing great.
Okay. And they said, he's cutting. You weren't cutting. Same thing in this case.
Right. The number one thing for Republicans to remember is that other than Reagan, who was a former Democrat, and Trump, who's a former Democrat, Republicans generally don't communicate very well. And we have the arguments. I think Mike Johnson's doing a good job. But every Republican should learn the key arguments, repeat them ad nauseum, stop reporters, as the vice president did brilliantly the other day, when they're saying falsehoods, just cut them off and say that's false.
Did you see George Stephanopoulos? He shuts his mic, then takes a cheap shot, and then keeps going, and then doesn't let the vice president of our country talk.
Right, because they can't. Because the fact is they are now crazy. What they're doing is nuts. I try to point out to people, you have two Democratic leaders in the House and Senate. They live 1.5 miles apart. They're $15 Uber visit, okay? And they live in a city which is about to elect a big government socialist with weird values. Now, that's the world they live in. So they're doing things that in that world sound really cool. Right. In the whole rest of the country, which is pretty big, they look like they're nuts.
Well, there's a lot of red in this country. The president mentioned that today.
More than there used to be.
A lot more. Okay, so here we are. I remember I was there the night you became speaker. Right. I was the MC of your event. It was a great honor of my life. Really catapulted me, you know, into a pretty good career.
Yeah.
And you foundationally, you had renewing American civilization. And you also taught Republicans how to communicate. Donald Trump is out there every day communicating with the American people. We haven't seen that in the last 4 years. Is it working? Is it effective?
Well, I think, look, he's changed the whole culture. I mean, the truth is, and I follow a guy named Seth Keshel, who's the best student of voter registration in America. We have gained almost 2 million new Republicans since Trump was elected.
They lost about, I think we gained 3, they lost 2. Yeah,
it's amazing. So there's a steady slide in our direction because Trump isn't just a political figure. Trump's a cultural figure. Trump is saying really bold, radical things like there are men and women. People should be promoted based on merit. Criminals should be in jail and innocent citizens should be on the street. I mean, there are a number of these radical ideas.
The border should be secure.
That's right.
Taxes should be lower.
I mean, all these things, you know, Americans ought to be treated fairly in international trade. What he just did yesterday, I thought was, Cliff and I watched all day, I thought it was the most amazing thing I think I've ever seen an American president do. You go to Jerusalem in the morning, they're all wearing hats in the Knesset about Trump as the president of peace. Then you fly down to Egypt in the afternoon. You have 27 leaders of countries who go through a photo op. Trump stands there, the next one comes up, they chat for a minute. What people need to realize is he knew every person who was coming up.
You know, it's remarkable. I remember once you said, I am a revolutionary.
Yes.
This is back when you were speaker. And people took that like it was shocking to them at the time. You were a very early supporter of President Trump.
Yes.
Big supporter of him winning this election.
Right.
And it's amazing. You said something to me before we started the show, and that is, as good as you thought he would be, I'll let you finish yours.
Well, I think he's been at least 3 times more effective
than you ever expected.
Than I ever expected.
And you knew he'd be effective.
Well, I thought he would be remarkable, but this puts him, I think, in a league with Washington and Lincoln, because it's the totality. I mean, this is a guy who every day is doing 6 things. I've concluded, you'll love this, I've concluded it's because he's a Gemini. Geminis are twins. One twin is totally focused on today, and the other twin is doing strategic planning. And you never know which one's showing up.
And in the meantime, he's redecorating the White House every day.
Well,
I passed the auto pen today that he put up for Biden's picture. It was great.
Think about this. And this, I give Jared Kushner some credit here. In May of 2016, speaking to AIPAC, Trump outlined a vision of peace in the Middle East. That's 2016. 9 years later, he's developing the reality. Now, that is a level of strategic discipline and strategic commitment that almost nobody gives him credit for.
He's so much smarter than the left knows, and he's 5 steps ahead. I never get to see my adopted brother, my big brother. Good to see you.
Trump and America, the unstoppable force. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Oh my God, what a 72 hours or so it's been. A juggernaut for peace and prosperity. Donald Trump once again has reminded us that we are living in a historic time.
We had a great week. We had a great weekend. We had a great period of time in the Middle East. It was very comprehensive. It went very rapidly, and I think it's going to lead to something that's going to be unrecognizable, certainly for the Middle East. What's taken place in the last few days, people can't believe it. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen the love and the spirit.
We haven't seen anything like it. Back and forth to the Middle East, history made in the Gaza peace deal. The world, as he said, coming to be together to be part of what few thought was possible. Now, it's hard to believe that just a year ago, America had a president who hardly ever did press conferences and would routinely end his official day before noon. But 36 hours into his trip, President Trump was chatting with the media aboard Air Force One. They were sleepy. And it wasn't until 2:30 in the morning, this is amazing, that he finally walked off Air Force One for another full workday, not skipping a beat. All right, 79 years of age. But as proud as Trump is of his team and their Middle East triumph, he isn't resting on his laurels. Today, his focus was closer to home, our own hemisphere, specifically in Argentina. The conservative reformer, President Javier Milei, who has big elections coming up, was visiting the White House.
It's a great honor to have the leader of Argentina, a place that I love, I've been to, and one of the most beautiful places in the world, President. And I really want to thank you very much. He's MAGA all the way. It's Make Argentina Great Again. He's become very popular, and he's on the verge of a breakthrough, I think. I think he's really on the verge of tremendous economic success.
Again, contrary to what so many establishment types predicted, Trump is not just trying to make peace between enemies, but also he's trying to cultivate deeper relationships with nations critical to our own strategic position in the world.
President Obama had a big opportunity during his term, which he wasted. Many governments in Latin America went center-right, and the U.S. ignored them. We are not going to ignore our allies. We're using our economic strength to create peace. It is much better to form an economic bridge with our allies, people who want to do the right thing, than have to have shoot at narco gunboats. We're confident that President Milei is going to do well. We've been criticized by a couple of American Peronists, like Senator Warren.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
She has no idea what she's doing. She's a nasty, horrible senator. Go ahead. Other than that, I like her very much.
Oh, no. Okay. Of course, it's Trump, right? So he got a lot of laughs today as he's dealing with all this substance and what has to be real jet lag. But none of his critics were spared, okay, including his predecessor, again, who could never dream of doing what Trump has done because he had no vision, or he was asleep at the wheel or on the beach.
I'd love to go to Argentina. I'd like to be like Biden. I'd like to go to the beach. You know, my legs are not quite as thin as his. My legs are slightly heavier. My arms are slightly larger. My body is a little bit larger than his. I'm not sure it would be appreciated on the beach. You won't see me on a bathing suit, sitting on a beach in Argentina, falling down, and not being able to lift a 3-ounce chair. He spent too much time on a beach.
And Trump, of course, strafed the media.
And we're going to have lunch, and we'll take a couple of questions from the news, and I'm sure they'll be extremely non-hostile and friendly. like JD went through a very friendly interview with George Slopadopoulos, who was nice enough to pay me $16 million the last time we came. He had to pay $16 million to me, which was good. It was worth having somebody lie. If you get $16 million, that's good.
And what about junior White House aides who turned against him for their fleeting moment of fame?
Alyssa Farah, she is one of the hosts on ABC's show The View. She said a while back, I'll quote, "If Trump gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on this show and say thank you for doing it." Your response?
She worked here. She gave me the most beautiful letter. I figured she would not make it. And she didn't have a big role here either. Then she got hired by The View, and they gave her a couple of bucks, and she changed her view very quickly. I never thought she'd make it, but she's on The View. But it just shows what a fraud The View is.
No. Let's see it, Alyssa. Where's the hat? Oh, don't see it. Well, the only reason she made that fake promise was because she had zero faith in President Trump. Big, big miscalculation. So, word to the wise, everybody out there, and I've said this, do not underestimate Donald Trump or, of course, America. Even the New York Times had to admit, rarely has an American president been met with such adulation abroad. No one could have gotten all this stuff done. No one could have gotten all these people together. Trump did. President Trump has taken a flamethrower to globalists across the political spectrum, and he's remade our foreign and economic policy. So anyone who is not celebrating him for his accomplishments is revealing who they really are and whose interests they have. The entire world has come to Trump, and he's now using it as an opportunity to make a move on China. Again, it's hard to imagine that any previous American president kept President Xi up at night ever, because President Xi knew how to dominate them, how to play them, knew how to cheat on trade deals, knew how to move unchallenged, even in our own hemisphere, how to buy up American land and our resources, even our food companies, even land near military bases. But dealing with President Trump is another matter altogether. He knows how to maneuver and protect American interests.
Everybody deals with China. They have to deal with us, too. We have to be careful with China. Look, I have a great relationship with President Xi, but sometimes it gets testy because China likes to take advantage of people, and they can't take advantage of us. But we have a fair relationship with China, and I think it'll be fine. And if it's not, that's okay too. You have to do and go where the punches are thrown. You got to put up the blocks. We have a lot of punches being thrown, and we've been very successful.
Oh, I love that. You got to go where the punches are being put in your arm, block. You see how he's thinking? But China, of course, is trying to flex before Xi's meeting with Trump at the end of the month in Korea. Yeah, that's still on for now. Xi's trying to get leverage against Trump in the United States by ramping up export controls on rare earth materials and then threatening fees on non-Chinese ships at their ports, so they somewhat pulled that back. But President Trump, he's not about to let that happen. America is not going to be held hostage, and neither will any of our allies. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says this only shows how weak their economy is and that they want to pull everybody else down with them. And the Dutch, who would have thought it, clearly has had enough of China's economic games. Its government took control of Nexperia. That's a Chinese-owned chip firm based in the Netherlands. And the Netherlands citing national security concerns. So they've taken control of that company. That is bold and that is smart. So is the world finally waking up to the China threat? Is it realizing that pragmatism, as Trump knows, always beats progressivism? But Trump's playing it really smart right now. So it's a good time for him to move in on China, while he has the majority of the world's leaders, friend or foe, paying attention. Xi has 2 weeks to figure out a plan. So he's going to start playing nice, a little bit more reasonably, or will he let his country's economy continue to crumble and get slapped with 100% tariffs? Right now, the choice is his. Trump's going to be ready either way, because that's just how he is. And America will be fine either way.